Hello and welcome. You are now looking at a standard internet marketing sales letter, which is being displayed before you in what is probably a PowerPoint or a Google Doc presentation. And what we're going to do in this course is we're going to take a standard presentation like this and we're going to turn it into an animated video. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually go and get content for our sales letter. And if you have difficulty writing that content, we are going to find a sales letter that we have the private label rights to, and we're going to open up a document and we're going to copy that document into a Microsoft Word document. Now, the most important thing here is that we are doing this as an example. You want to make sure that you have the private label rights in order to use the copy in your sales letter. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up this index document and we're going to copy it all into a Microsoft Word document. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy all of this writing all the way down to the end. We're going to copy it and paste it. And then we're going to go to Microsoft Word. Now, when we paste the document, we're not going to bother with the formatting. We're just going to put the text in there. So once you've completed this process, you should have a fair amount of sales copy that you can actually use for your animated video. Again, you can certainly write your own sales copy, but the easiest way, if you don't have a lot of time, you can go and pick up a private label rights sales letter that you have the rights to, copy all of the information into a Microsoft Word document and leave it in text form. And then we are going to go to the next step in the process. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. So now that we have our content inside of a Microsoft Word document, what we're going to do is we're going to edit this content for a particular sales video. So some of the things that we're actually going to use, we will not be narrating in a slide. So we want to take out all of that information and leave only the information that we're going to do in our narration. So what we've done for the sake of time is we've cut this down to about 1.25 pages. Now you can do as much copy as you want. It really doesn't have to be done exactly the way we're doing it in terms of editing. You want your copy to read the way you actually want it to appear to your customer or to your prospect. We've done, for the sake of time in this video, about 1/4 of the actual full content. So now what we're going to do is we're going to format this content for slides. In order to do that, we're going to go to the view area, and then we're going to turn this into an outline. And what we want to verify with the outline is that we have one line for every thing that we have here, and that our slides are going to have one idea at a time. So we've taken out all of the extra information. Our outline looks good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to save this as an outline. Okay, so now that we've saved that document, we can actually close this and we can now open Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, so we now have a new copy of Microsoft PowerPoint open, and we're going to now bring in the outline that we just created. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the view area. We're going to go to the slide master. We're going to scroll all the way to the top. We're going to get rid of this box. We're going to bring this title slide down to the middle. And what we're going to do is we're now going to go back to the view area. We're going to go normal. And now what we're going to do is we're going to open up the outline. So we're going to grab that outline now, and we're going to pick it up here and click Insert. And then Microsoft PowerPoint is going to bring in those outlines into our PowerPoint script. So now our script is now ready to be narrated into an audio document. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to narrate our content into a Camtasia project, and we are going to use the Camtasia recorder in order to do that. And we don't need to be concerned about the video. We only need to be concerned about being able to edit the audio. So if we make a mistake, what we're going to do is we're going to clap 3 times in order to see it on the timeline, and then we're going to edit it out when we do the recording. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and record this audio. And while we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to come back then, and then we're going to edit it on the timeline. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on our PowerPoint presentation, and then we're going to start the narration process. Anyone want to become more empowered? Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential, and supercharge your success. And finally reach your goals and become a more confident person, lead with authority, and empower yourself and anyone around you. Is your life everything you've always wanted to be? Are you the person you want to be? And are you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships? Now, if you're anything like most people, then the answer to these questions will be a resounding no. Even those of us who are generally happy for the most part often find that our lives never panned out quite the way we thought they would, or that we aren't quite as accomplished as some of our friends. Even those of us who are generally happy for the most part will often find that our lives never panned But can you really live the life you've always wanted? While those few people seem to be successful in everything they do, we struggle hard to stay afloat and keep the house clean, to get to the gym and keep in touch with friends. This means we have no time to work on developing ourselves or to take our lives to that next level. Perhaps you struggle to know what that next level is. Maybe you don't know what it is you really want from life in the first place. Perhaps the issue is that our expectations are set too high, maybe as a result of media. But wouldn't it be amazing if you could live the life that you've always wanted, or if you could make the life everything you've dreamed of? Wouldn't it be incredible if there was a real limitless pill that could help you to start making the very most of your life and seize the day and create opportunities? What's the solution? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's possible. That all the things that you've dreamed of can become a reality, and that there's no reason you can't become the ultimate version of yourself. And I've written a guide to help you get there. Let me introduce you to our brand new guide, The Empowered Life. Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential, and supercharge your success. You can get instant access right now. You'll discover all the steps, tools, and resources you need to help you finally reach your goal. Click the Add to Cart button to get your copy today. Okay, so now we have finished narrating the audio. What we're going to do now is we're going to stop this video and we're going to pick it up from the editing process. Okay, welcome back. So we have our audio here on the timeline, and we know for the most part that we have one mistake in this presentation. And so we want to be able to listen to find out where it is into a Camtasia project. Okay, so we are going to now start with this particular part of the edit. And we're going to cut out the beginning right here. Going to bring our timeline all the way back. We're going to bring this part back here. And then this is that we aren't quite as accomplished as some of our friends. And I think what we want to do is we want to scroll all the way up here. And then we'll edit this out. And then we will take this part, we'll cut it out. And then we're going to extend this just a little bit so we can do Camtasia noise reduction. And then we're going to cut that part out. Okay, so now we have our audio and it's now ready for us to use as our audio narration. So what we need to do now, of course, is we need to produce the audio, and we're going to do that here in Camtasia. And we're going to click Save. And we're going to let the audio produce. And MP3s don't take long to produce, so we're going to actually go ahead and watch this process. And what's going to happen is that when Camtasia has completed the production, the editing screen is going to open up again. Anyone want to become more empowered? Okay, so there's our audio. And then we can find it in our production folder. Okay, so that is the process of narrating and editing our audio. We are now ready for the next step. So with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to pick keywords for each one of the slides, which is going to represent one scene. And you'll notice that there are 27. Now, for the sake of time, we're just going to pick one keyword that we're going to depict with an image. So we're going to go through each one of these slides, and then we're going to pick a keyword for each one. Okay, so what we've done is we have picked one keyword from each of the phrases. Now, in some cases, we didn't use a word-for-word definition. We used career instead of work. In one point, we used the word doubt for struggle. And there are going to be a couple of times where we have a depiction for questions. We're going to have to look for two different things here. And then we also substituted the word optimism for one particular phrase, as well as medicine. Now, what we're doing here is that we are considering what there are going to be images for inside of the system. And when you start thinking about how you're going to depict a certain topic or a certain phrase, you want to start thinking about what kind of tangible objects are going to be showing inside of the video creator. And when you do that, then what you can do is you can take your concept and you can combine them with some of the words in your actual phrase. Now again, for the sake of time, what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of these concepts, we're going to find one image, and we're going to combine this with some of the words from the actual phrase. Now again, you are free to do whatever you like. You can do more or less images, you can do all words, but it really doesn't matter as long as you have the animation, as long as you have the depiction, and that you are actually getting your viewer to focus in on your words. Okay, so what you'll want to do at this point, if you are following along, is you will want to take your document, you want to take your script, and then you want to find at least one or two images that represent the phrase or keywords in the phrase so that you can then go to your video creation software. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. So now that we have our keyword list of all of the scenes, what we want to do is we want to go inside of our video creation software and we want to find assets to match each of these phrases. Now in some cases we might find that the video creation software is inadequate, they don't have exactly what we need, then we'll go outside of there. We always want to start with the video creation software because anytime you use the assets inside of the software, you will be able to use the tools in order to draw, in order to animate. In some cases, if you add outside sources in, the animation process doesn't work the same. So let's open up our video creation software. And what we're going to do now is we're going to search for each one of these phrases. So for example, instead of empower, what we might start with is power, and we'll search for something that might represent empower. And we could probably use this, which would be a fist. And so this would be our first scene. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move the timeline down. We're now going to look for lock or unlock. We'll start with unlock. And these are all premium suggestions, so we'll take a look at lock. And a key will actually work fine. So we'll use the key. We'll set this, and then we'll move on to the next scene. Our next phrase is goals, so we're going to do goals. And this is a good one for goals. We'll now move on to the next scene. Next keyword is life, so we will see what we can find for life. And this will actually work just fine. So you get the idea. So what we're going to do for the rest of the scenes, we're going to do this off cameras. We're going to go and we're going to find images for each one of these phrases. And then we'll come back. Okay, so we are still selecting images here and continuing to go through the process. Now, one thing to note, since we're doing a video on the sales process, we decided to use an image from the actual product. So we're actually going to put our product image inside of this part of the video. And we are now at image number 23 or scene 23, and we have 4 more left at this point. Okay, so you can see now here at the bottom, we have selected all of our images for our scenes. We're now going to save this particular file inside of our video creation software. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to do some simple scene design. And remember, we have 27 scenes to design, and we want them to look about uniform if we can. And so we're going to do a very simple design for the sake of time. We're going to display the image and then some of the words. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to get our Microsoft Word document, and we're going to take some of the words and we're going to transfer them into the canvas. And so what we want to do is we want to use our outline view. And we want to do this one line at a time. So for example, we might take this entire phrase, or we might just take part of it. So we're going to take this phrase, and we're going to arrange this in our canvas for our scene. And we're not doing any of the timing yet, so what we're going to do is we're going to just place this scene and then some words. We're going to enlarge this. And we're going to set our motion. So this is going to be our first scene. So what we want to try to do is we want to try to make all the scenes similar. Now we don't have to use all the words in all of these scenes, but we want to design them in a way that's going to be consistent so it does not confuse the viewer and it keeps them focused on our message. Okay, so we're going to do a similar design in the next scene. So we're going to slide this over. And we're going to bring these keys in. I'm going to slide that out of the picture. And then we're going to add in our next line. So let's take a look to find out what our next phrase is. Unlock your full potential and supercharge your success. We're going to take part of that phrase. And we're going to add this to our next scene. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that phrase out. We're going to enlarge this. Maybe what we'll do is we'll kind of make this so that it is a little more full in a stack. And then we'll put a little more spacing between the letters. We'll click OK. Then we'll enlarge this. Okay, so now we will set this. So what we want to do now is we want to go ahead and lay out all of our scenes. And we're not going to deal with timing right now, but what we're going to do is we're going to put the design to our scenes for all 27 different images. Okay, so we have now laid out all 27 scenes, and we are now ready to save our presentation. And we are now ready to go to the next step. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to add music to our video. And you'll notice that we have our voiceover file in the project area. What we're going to do is we're going to pull that down to the timeline. And this has already been edited. So what we're now going to do is we're now going to test different audios to get a sense for whether or not we have found the right one for our project. Now, we can use audio associated with Camtasia if you have Camtasia. So for example, we can test or listen to the full song of this audio to see if it's something that we would think that we want. And we're probably trying to accomplish a certain thing. And depending on what your sales video is going to want to do, you're going to want to pick the right music. Now, in some cases, the music in Camtasia is probably going to be used by a lot of people. So if you're going to have a unique sales video, you probably want to use something that's going to be royalty free, that's a little more exclusive. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the long version of a couple of these selections. And we're going to take these three and drag them in. We're going to find a few more and drag them in. And you want to make sure that you do have something that's royalty free, that you have the rights to work with. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to test each one of these audios onto the timeline. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with one of these. We're going to drag it down to the timeline. And when we do that, we're going to tone down the audio. So we're going to bring the audio for that track way down. And then we're going to fade it in and fade it out. Then we want to just listen. Anyone want to become more empowered? Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential. So if we like this audio, what we're going to do is we're going to come here to the end. We're then going to cut this audio. We're going to cut that part out. Then we'll go back. We're going to fade that part out again. And so we now have is our voiceover, and we have our voiceover now with music. So now what we need to do is we need to reproduce this audio, and we are going to use the custom production settings, and then we're going to publish. And an MP3 player goes pretty fast, so we're going to go ahead and just let this process go. We would typically do this off camera, but this is a pretty fast process. And when it completes, what's going to happen is our Camtasia is going to open up again.
Anyone want to become more empowered? Discover your life purpose.
We can open the production folder. There's where our audio is. And we are now ready to go on to the next step. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, now that we have completed our audio, we are now going to go through a very simple process of adding that audio to our video creation software. And every video creation software is going to be a little different. In Sparkle Video Scribe, we are going to go to the music section, and you'll notice that there is no track selected. We could add royalty-free music all by itself, but what we're going to do is we're going to add in an audio track. So we're going to go to our hard drive and look for our audio. Okay, so we have our audio. We are going to add this and open it. Now, in some cases, if you don't have a long audio, what you can do in just about all of the video creation software is to have the audio loop. Now, in this case, we're not going to do that because we're going to time our slides in order to meet the audio. So the audio is actually going to dictate how long the actual video is going to be. So we're not going to choose the looping. And in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to click OK. We can adjust the volume to the audio, but in this case, we're going to leave it as is. We're going to click OK. So now what you'll find is that the actual audio is part of the timeline, and we can actually start looking at the timing of our video, and we can start testing that timing by clicking the preview button. But the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to save the entire project. Now that we have the project saved, what we can actually do is we can actually start to preview the video by clicking this button.
Anyone want to become more empowered? Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential, and supercharge your success. You finally reach your
Okay, so as you can see, we're going to have some work to do with the timing, but we are now going to be able to start working with the timing of the audio as well as the images that we have placed inside of our video creation software. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. So we are now going to start the process of building our video. And before we start the processing portion, we want to get the full parameter of the video. We can actually tell that inside of all of our video software in particular. And so we're going to start the process now by looking first at the first drawing. And we're going to edit that first drawing. You'll notice that it's going to draw for 8 seconds. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to consider making this so that it appears when the video first starts. And so we're just going to have this to get started and be here when it starts. Then we're going to go and have this line drawn for not 8 seconds, maybe more like 3 seconds. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start the process from this image, and we're just going to click the preview button.
Anyone want to become more empowered? Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential, and supercharge your...
Okay, so we notice that there's probably too much of a pause right here. So we're going to go back and we're going to take out the pause. And we're going to take out the transition. And we're going to have the writing start right away, and we're going to have it write for a shorter period of time. So we're going to cut this down to maybe 2.5. So now what we want to do is we're going to go back and we're going to preview again.
Anyone want to become more empowered? Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential.
Okay, so that works a little better. What we probably want to do here is we want to have this pause and then a short transition. So we want people to get the full impact of our words here. So let's go ahead and then let's preview this again now.
Anyone want to become more empowered? Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential.
Okay, one thing that we can do here is we can actually make this writing to be a little shorter. And we're going to do that by taking the hand out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make this a shorter period of time. We're going to make this more like 1.5. Okay, so we're going to come back and we're going to play this again.
Anyone want to become more empowered? Discover your life purpose.
Okay, so that really is probably a little closer to what we want. So we want that to be a little pause there. At the end, we're gonna make this pause maybe a half a second longer.
Anyone want to become more empowered? Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential, and supercharge.
Okay, we can go back and take out the half second again. 1 second is long enough to pause. So now we can move on to the next scene, which is this one. So we are going to cut down this drawing. I'm going to cut this down to maybe 2.5. We're going to do the same thing with the writing. We're going to actually take the hand out of the drawing. And we're going to have it to write for about 3 seconds. So now let's go ahead and let's test this versus the audio.
Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential, and supercharge your success. You finally reach your goals and become a more confident person.
Okay, that takes a little bit too long. So we're probably going to have this, drawn, and we're going to cut the pause out. I'm going to cut out the transition. And we're just going to start the writing right away.
Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential, and supercharge your success.
Okay, that's what we want. So let's go ahead now, and then let's now be pause here. So that the people can actually get the full effect of the words. Okay, so we're going to stop at this point, and we're going to pick it up in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Okay, so now that we have started the building process, we want to take every time that we do a major edit and we want to save our file. And we want to start each session by looking at the video as a whole. We want to see if our timing altogether matches the audio. So we can go and preview that.
Anyone want to become more empowered? Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential, and supercharge your success. You finally reach your goals.
Okay, so one of the things you're going to notice is that the words don't necessarily coincide exactly, but probably by the time we get to the second slide, they are matching fairly well. And so that's what you want to try to achieve. You're not necessarily going to be able to match up every single phrase with every single word, every single image, so that it all fits perfectly with the voice. However, you are going to be able to do that more often than not, and you're going to be able to emphasize it in certain areas of your presentation. So what we're going to do now is we're now going to pick it up at the third image, and we're going to look at the same elements that we have in the past. We're going to look at the animation, the pause, and the transition. Now in this case, we want to try to have this actually drawn. We haven't had an image drawn before. We're going to cut this down to 3 seconds. We're going to cut the pause to 0. I'm going to cut the transition down. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to cause our writing to go quickly. And we're going to do that by cutting this down to 3 seconds. And then we're going to take out the hand. So now let's pick it up from the dartboard.
Reach your goals and become a more confident person, lead with authority, and empower yourself and anyone around you. Is your life everything you've always wanted to be?
Okay.
Are you the person?
So we're probably a little bit too long with the drawing. So we're going to have to shorten this. And we're probably a little long in the transition. So we're going to take that part out. The writing is probably not as fast as we would like it, so we're going to cut that down. And so now that we've taken a few seconds off, we're going to come back and take a look at our...
Reach your goals and become a more confident person, lead with authority, and empower yourself and anyone around you. Is your life everything you've always wanted to be?
So that could probably be a half second shorter, or it could probably begin a half second beforehand. But we've already used up pretty much all of our timing. So let's consider cutting this down. And we do want to have this pause a little longer. Okay, let's go back now.
To reach your goals and become a more confident person, lead with authority, and empower yourself and anyone around you. Is your life everything you've always wanted to be?
So one thing that we can do is we can take out some of the words. That's an element that we can probably do to make this we're going to depict lead, reach your goals, and we're just going to depict lead with authority. Okay, so now let's see if we have a better timing.
Reach your goals and become a more confident person, lead with authority, and empower yourself and anyone around you. Is your life everything you've always
wanted? So that works a lot better. So we're going to go ahead and save. And we're actually going to stop the video here, and we're going to pick it up in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. So let's start the process by saving our file. And then let's take a listen to the entire video up until this point. So we're going to preview the entire video.
Anyone want to become more empowered? Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential, and supercharge your success. And finally reach your goals and become a more confident person, lead with authority, and empower yourself and anyone around you. Is your life everything you've always wanted to be?
Okay, so now we can pick it up from, is your life always what you want it to be? We're going to follow a pattern that we have established in some of the other scenes, and we're not going to draw this image. In fact, we're just going to have it be there at the point at which the scene starts. So we're going to take out all the animation time, we're going to take out all the pause time, all the transition time, and we're going to have this to appear on the scene. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some time to actually write this phrase. And we're just going to make this a little bigger. We save it here. And we're not going to take 8 seconds to do it. We're going to try to do this at 3. And we'd like to have the hand drawing here. So we're going to cut down in the transition and pause up the time. And so now let's go ahead and start the process from the image representing life.
Is your life everything you've always wanted to be? Are you the person you want to be? And are you where you thought you would be in your career?
That's not exactly what we want in terms of timing. So we're going to try maybe 2.5 seconds. If we can't get it, we're going to have to take the hand out. But we want to have the hand drawn.
Is your life everything you've always wanted to be? Are you the person you want to be?
And that's not going to work out very well. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take out the hand. And we're going to cut this down to 2.0. I'm going to leave the pause where it is. And let's take a look.
Is your life everything you've always wanted to be? Are you the person you want to be? And are you
that'll actually work. Okay, so now we're going to pick it up from this drawing.
person you want to be? And are you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships? Now, if you're anything like most people...
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this drawing to just represent the next scene all by itself. Right? So we are just going to make sure that the scene matches this drawing. So we're going to take time and we're going to actually draw this scene. So let's start from these words.
Is your life everything you've always wanted to be? Are you the person you want to be? And are you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships? Now, if you're anything like most people...
Now, it seems as if this drawing is taking a little bit long, and we're already over into careers and relationships. So we're going to have to cut down on the time a little bit again. So we're going to cut down on the transition time. We're going to cut down on the pause time here in the other scene. And then this drawing is going for about 5 seconds, and that's probably a little too long. We're going to cut that down to 3. We're going to cut the pause out and the transition down. So now we're going to come back to the life scene and play it from there.
Is your life everything you've always wanted to be? Are you the person you want to be? And are you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships? Now, if you're anything like most...
Okay. Still taking a little bit long here. And we do need the pause. So we're going to cut down on the timing and the scene before. We're going to transition up a little bit. We are going to animate less. We're going to pause a little bit. So let's go back.
Is your life everything you've always wanted to be? Are you the person you want to be? And are you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships? Now, if you're anything like most people, then the answer...
Okay, we need to pause a little bit here. Shorten the time. And what we're going to do is we're not going to draw. We're actually going to... We're going to guide this person in. We're just going to move them in. And we're going to move them in a little fast. So let's pull it back from this point.
Is your life everything you've always wanted to be? Are you the person you want to be? And are you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships? Now, if you're anything...
All right. So we're probably fine for this person. And in fact, we could stand even to take this out, but we're not going to. We're going to leave that person in there. And then we're going to move on to the next scene. Okay, so we're going to stop the video here and we're going to pick it up in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to pick it up where we left off, and we're going to start by saving our file. And before we preview the entire scribe, what we're going to do is we're going to actually go back and establish the pattern that we have been doing, and we're going to cut the animation time down to 0. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to view the scribe entirely from the beginning.
Anyone want to become more empowered? Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential, and supercharge your success. You finally reach your goals and become a more confident person, lead with authority, and empower yourself and anyone around you. Is your life everything you've always wanted to be? Are you the person you want to be? And are you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships?
Okay, so now that actually does work now for this person. We just need to have this to pause a little longer. So I think if we have a pause there with the no transition, that will actually work better. So let's take a look once more.
Is your life everything you've always wanted to be? Are you the person you want to be? And are you where you thought you...
Yeah, we're gonna pause that 5.5 more seconds. And let's take
Is your
one
life
more look.
everything you've always wanted to be? Are you the person you want to be? And are you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationship?
Okay, so that's about right. So now what we want to do is we want to go to the next scene with careers and relationships. So now we have a pattern, and we're going to go ahead and just follow the pattern. So we're not going to draw the briefcase, and we're actually not going to give it any transition time. We're going to let the writing start with career and relationship. And we're not going to take 6 seconds to draw it. We're going to take it with 3 or 3.5. And so let's pick it up from,
are you the person you want to be? And are you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships? Now, if you're anything like most people, then the answer to these questions will be...
okay, I think we can safely, if we cut this down by 3 seconds, we should be able to...
you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships. Now, if you're anything like most people, then the answer to these...
okay, so that's actually going to work very well. So what we need to do is maybe we'll pause this. We've got a 0.5 second pause. Let's go ahead and pause it a little longer. Maybe shorten the transition.
you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships. Now, if you're anything like most people, then the answer to these questions will be a resounding no. Even those of us who are generally happy...
All right, so we're going to take a little longer or a little shorter to draw this. And we're going to cut this in half. So let's start with careers and relationships.
you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships. Now, if you're anything like most people, then the answer to these questions will be a resounding no. Even those of us who are generally...
okay, we could probably take a little less long to draw this, if that's possible. But what's going to happen is the drawing is going to start to look a little disjointed, but we're going to deal with that disjointedness. We're going to pause this actually, and what we could do is we could just choose to do it the way we've done other things and just not draw at all. So let's try that. Let's go from careers and relationships to just the drawing.
where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships. Now, if you're anything like most people, then the answer to these questions will be a resounding no.
Okay, so we are probably going to need a longer transition if we're going to do that, and then this is going to have to pause for a little while and transition a while.
you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships. Now, if you're anything like most people, then the answer to these questions will be a resounding no. Even those of us...
okay, we're a little bit ahead of time, so we need to gain some time, and we can probably pick up a little time at careers and relationships. So let's try to see if we can pick up
where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships. Now, if you're anything like most people, then the answer to these questions will be a resounding no. Even those of us...
now, this is a point at which we could benefit by writing something in here. We could add in some words. What we really need is for this to pause just a little bit longer and a longer transition.
where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships. Now, if you're anything like most people, then the answer to these questions will be a resounding no. Even those of us who are generally happy for the most part often find that our lives...
so we are on time, and what we need to do now is we're going to stop this video, and we're going to pick it up in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now we are going to start the process once again by saving our file. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to view our video from the start.
anyone want to become more empowered? Discover your life purpose, unlock your full potential, and supercharge your success. And finally reach your goals and become a more confident person, lead with authority, and empower yourself and anyone around you. Is your life everything you've always wanted to be? Are you the person you want to be? And are you where you thought you would be in your career and in your relationships? Now, if you're anything like most people, then the answer to these questions will be a resounding no. Even those of us who are generally happy for the most part often find that our lives never panned out quite the way we thought they would, or that we aren't quite as accomplished as some of our friends. But can you really live the life?
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this image, and we could probably stand to let the image draw a little longer or let it pause a little longer. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause this, let it sit, and we're going to let it draw a little longer. So let's take a look at what that's going to look like.
Who are generally happy for the most part often find that our lives never panned out quite the way we thought they would, or that we aren't quite as accomplished as some of our friends. But can you really live the life you've always wanted? While those few people seem to be successful in everything they do.
So we are probably timed well for this image. And so what we need to do is we need to get good timing for the phrase, can you always live the life that you wanted? So we're going to follow the pattern that we have been following. We're going to bring that timing down to 0. We're actually going to do a 0 pause and even 0 transition. And we're going to focus on the writing. And so now we're going to now check our timing.
Live the life you've always wanted. While those few people seem to be successful in everything they do.
Okay, so we need to speed this up. We need to speed up the writing. And obviously we're not going to animate for 8 seconds. We're going to try to animate for 3 seconds. That's about the minimum amount of time to allow the hand to write. So what we're going to do is we're going to just check this once more again.
Live the life you've always wanted. While those few people seem to be successful in everything they do, we struggle.
Okay, so we're going to take the hand out. We're going to shorten this. We're going to pause a little longer. And now we're going to come back and...
Who are generally happy for the most part often find that our lives never panned out quite the way we thought they would, or that we aren't quite as accomplished as some of our friends. But can you really live the life you've always wanted? While those few people seem to be successful in everything they do, we struggle hard to stay afloat and keep the house.
Okay, so we're going to pause this just for a little longer for emphasis. The timing is good there. And it looks like the drawing of this image, since it's going to be the only thing, is actually working out well. So let's take a look at how it's actually going to work.
Live the life you've always wanted. While those few people seem to be successful in everything they do, we struggle hard to stay afloat and keep the house clean, to get to the gym and keep in touch with friends. This means we have no time to work on developing ourselves.
So the timing here is actually very close. We're going to pause a little, and we're going to animate a little less. And
successful in everything they do, we struggle hard to stay afloat and keep the house clean, to get to the gym and keep in touch with friends. This means we have no time to work on developing ourselves or to take our lives to that next level.
Okay, so our timing is pretty good there. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow the pattern that we've established in this video. And we're going to bring this animation down to 0. And then we're going to bring the pause to 0. And we're going to bring the transition to 0. We're going to focus on the writing. So let's just go back here.
Successful in everything they do, we struggle hard to stay afloat and keep the house clean, to get to the gym and keep in touch with friends. This means we have no time to work on developing ourselves or to take our lives to that next level. Perhaps you struggle to know what that next level.
Okay, so we're going to speed this up a little. Going to speed this down to 2. We are going to pause, and then we're going to take out the hand once again. Okay, so we'll pick it up from the clock.
No time to work on developing ourselves or to take our lives to that next level. Perhaps you struggle to know what...
All right, so let's pause a little bit here.
No time to work on developing ourselves or to take our lives to that next level. Perhaps you struggle to know what that next level.
Okay, so we are at a good stopping point, so we are going to stop this video and then we're going to pick it up in another video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. Now in this video we're going to start the process again by saving our file, and we're going to start at this image. And we'd figured out the timing for no time to work on ourselves, so we're going to move on to the next image. We'll just start from that
No
point.
time to work on developing ourselves or to take our lives to that next level. Perhaps you struggle to know what that next level is. Maybe you don't know.
Okay, so we're going to shorten the length of this drawing. And then we're going to turn this into the same kind of writing that we have been. And lower the time. Increase the pause here.
Perhaps you struggle to know what that next level is. Maybe you don't know what it is you really want from life in the first place. Perhaps the issue is that our expectations are set too high.
Right, so now what we can do is we're going to now cut this down to, cut this back down to 0, 0 pause, 0 transition. We're going to make our writing at 2.
Perhaps you struggle to know what that next level is. Maybe you don't know what it is you really want from life in the first place. Perhaps the issue...
Okay, so we have the timing about right for what is the next level. And we're going to allow this to represent the entire scene. We're just going to cut down the timing a little bit. Maybe increase the pause.
Perhaps you struggle to know what that next level is. Maybe you don't know what it is you really want from life in the first place. Perhaps the issue is that our expectations are set too high, maybe as a result of media.
Right, that's going to take a little too long to draw. So we're going to cut this down to 4.
Maybe you don't know what it is you really want from life in the first place. Perhaps the issue is that our expectations are set too high, maybe as a result of media.
Okay, so let's cut the drawing down. Let's cut the drawing down to 0. And let's increase the pause.
Perhaps you struggle to know what that next level is. Maybe you don't know what it is you really want from life in the first place. Perhaps the issue is that our...
Okay, so that's actually going to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase the time that this is paused, this image, and increase the transition slightly.
Maybe you don't know what it is you really want from life in the first place. Perhaps the issue is that our expectations are set too high, maybe as a result of media. But wouldn't it be amazing if you could live the life that you...
Okay, so let's set this television at 0 animation, as we have been with the images. 0 pause, 0 transition, and then we'll let the writing do the effect.
Maybe you don't know what it is you really want from life in the first place. Perhaps the issue is that our expectations are set too high, maybe as a result of media. But wouldn't it be amazing if you could live the life that you always...
Okay, so we're going to shorten now this timeline and take out the hand. Actually, we're going to make this 2.5. Then we're going to actually take the hand out.
Maybe you don't know what it is you really want from life in the first place. Perhaps the issue is that our expectations are set too high, maybe as a result of media. But wouldn't it be amazing if you could live the life that you always...
Okay, so we're going to cut the timing down on the writing, and we're going to increase the pause time. And this will then be about right.
Maybe you don't know what it is you really want from life in the first place. Perhaps the issue is that our expectations are set too high, maybe as a result of media. But wouldn't it be amazing if you could live the life...
Okay, we're going to set that pause just a little longer.
Maybe you don't know what it is you really want from life in the first place. Perhaps the issue is that our expectations are set too high, maybe as a result of media. But wouldn't it be amazing if you could live the life that you've always wanted, or if you could make the life everything you dreamed of?
Okay, so you should now have an idea of how to match your scenes with your voiceover. And you're going to do this in each scene. And if you find that you have too much work, what you can do is you can actually match every other scene. So one way to shorten the process is to take out every other scene and only seek to match every other scene when you're actually trying to sync up the audio as well as the words and the images. That's another way to decrease the amount of time that you're actually spending on this video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. Now in this video, you are looking at the website Fiverr. And that's because if you want to have a voiceover done as an alternative, maybe you don't feel comfortable with what you are able to produce and you'd like to have someone else do it. And Fiverr is just like any other online marketplace. You're going to want to find someone with the best rating who can actually get your voiceover done within the time frame that you want them. And so what you want to do is you want to start with someone who's got a great rating and who can meet your specifications. And typically you can find someone who's willing to go beyond the $5 price depending on what it is that you want to do. For example, here's someone who will do as much as a $25 voiceover for you for about 2,500 words. So again, you want to determine what your project is going to look like. Typically, if you're going to have more than one animated video, it's best to put together a bundle price and then to approach the service provider who has a higher rating. You can also find someone in the Warriors for Hire section, and a simple search voiceover will yield good results. So again, it really depends on how you want to process what you're doing in your video. Typically, if you have someone who knows the lingo of what you're doing, it's going to be a better voiceover artist than someone who is just reading. Someone who understands what it is that you are even trying to say in your video is going to be even better, and because they're going to know how to emphasize the right points, and you're not going to have them redo anything multiple times because they didn't quite understand exactly where you were coming from. Now, because you are going to be providing the script, really the only point that's going to be different is you're going to bring that voiceover into your video editing software. In this case, we're using Camtasia. Whatever you're using in terms of video editing, you're going to bring that document in, and then you're going to edit it, and you're going to add in any music or anything else that you want in order to make your video accurate. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.